Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
And welcome to the Comic Queens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie. And today, Alex and I are super excited for another installment of the TBR Touch Base. I think we're doing really good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new stuff, which I'm really excited about. Mostly because it's stuff that's been on our radar forever. Mm-hmm. And now we finally get to take it on. So that's super great.
Yeah.
But I have been loving everything.
Me too. I'm crying this time.
While you're talking, you think?
Maybe a little.
Yeah.
The first story that I started off with is one that you have been recommending to me.
Why'd you look at me like that?
Because it hurts.
With disdain.
I'm in so much pain.
Good.
I just finished it, so it's still
fresh on the noggin.
Fresh on the noggin. So, the story that I'm talking about today is Ouroboros. This is a heartbreaking story.
Yeah, there's not really another word for it.
There's nothing else I could say about it other than that it is just so heartbreaking.
Gut-wrenching, maybe?
Gut-wrenching. Okay, so I know you read this one a long time ago.
Honestly, it's going to be nice to kind of hear it through fresh ears because I haven't read this one in a while.
Yeah.
I just know the love that I have for it.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I'm really excited for you to dive into it.
Yeah. I mean, it still hurts.
It's going to. It's going to sting for a while.
So this one is on Leeson. It's 81 episodes. And I'm just going to say right off the bat, episode 77, I was getting really nervous about the ending.
Uh-huh.
But where we start off with this one, we have Woo Hyung, who is a man, and he has been kidnapped by his future brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. And so his future brother-in-law, No-Yeol, has taken him prisoner for the last 10 days and is just assaulting him, keeping him hostage in an apartment, and just saying, like, hey, don't marry my sister. I love you. You don't love her. She doesn't love you.
Yeah, I'm going to say trigger warnings abound for this story.
Yeah, the tags for this one are rough, locked up, and trauma.
And it stands true.
Yeah. So it was definitely traumatic.
Yes.
So he does eventually escape, and he calls paramedics to come and get him because he doesn't want to call the police because he is a police officer, and he's like really doesn't want them to know what happened. Like, he doesn't want anyone to know that this happened. He just wants to escape.
If I remember right, it's almost like embarrassment.
Yeah.
Like, how could this have happened to me?
Yeah, and that he's dealing with, like, self-blame throughout a lot of the series where he's like, oh, how could I have let this happen? I'm a strong man. I'm a police officer. I know better. But you never expect someone who you know and have known your entire life to kidnap you. Yeah. So it starts off strong. Mm-hmm. Then we go to No-Yeol has been arrested. He has his trial. He confessed to kidnapping Woo Hyung. So he gets like a speedy trial, really. And he has had mental health issues in the past. So they take that into consideration. And he gets a year for kidnapping someone for 10 days. So Woo Hyung is trying to move on. After he leaves the police station, he gets taken home by Boguk, and Boguk was in the military with him at the same time, was his junior in the military. Now they're both working for the police department, but two different precincts. And so he takes him home. On the way home, he's like, hey, let's actually go get drunk instead, and then I'll go home. So he goes and he gets drunk with Boguk, and then he goes home to his fiance. And you find out that he was pretending to be, like, super drunk. He wasn't drunk at all. And his fiance is like, okay, I know you're not drunk. Stop being stupid. Yeah. And so they kind of move on. And then it jumps forward in time, and you see that some time has passed, and he has just fallen apart and his life is just crumbling around him.
Yeah.
So he starts drinking really heavily. He gets a DUI. He gets put on leave from his job. He can't drive, which makes sense because he got a DUI.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up getting a divorce from his wife, Noah, and he's just really struggling.
Yeah.
He ends up going to lunch with Boguk, and he's trying to face his fears almost, and he asks Boguk to help him, like, hey, I would like to sleep with you so that I can get over this fear, like exposure therapy, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And Boguk turns him down at first, and then so Woo-hyung ends up going to a nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
And at this nightclub, he meets another man named Sujo Hyo. And Sujo is a college rich party boy, playboy. And he goes up to Woo-hyung because Woo-hyung is wearing like his police uniform jacket in this nightclub. And he's like, what are you doing, you weirdo?
Are you lost?
So Sujo ends up taking him to his long-term hotel because he has a long-term hotel room.
Screams rich kid.
Yeah. So he takes him to this hotel room and Woo-hyung is there. He's like, all right, I'm going to have a one-night stand with this guy. This is going to help me get over my trauma. This is going to be great. But then he starts thinking about Noyeol while he's with Sujo, and it starts like going off the rails quickly, and he's like, hey, stop, I don't want to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. He ends up telling Sujo that he was assaulted and he's just trying to like face his traumas in a different way. And Sujo's kind of like, I don't care, whatever. And they do end up hooking up, and then Woo-hyung leaves and he goes back. He's still hanging out with Boguk, and then they're talking, and he tells Boguk that he had this one night stand. Mm-hmm. And Boguk gets jealous about this because he does like Woo-hyung, but he doesn't want to, it seems like. They all three of the main characters kind of have their own traumas that they're trying to get through. Mm-hmm. So Boguk was actually assaulted in high school by a woman, and people didn't take him seriously because they're like, oh, how could a woman do that to you? You
so
scored.
disgusting.
Yeah, like they're being horrible about it. And then Sujo, he is having to hide who he is. He's still in the closet because his family is very wealthy and wants him to marry a woman and like uphold the family values and be the next face of the company. Mm-hmm. And so he's struggling with trying to like have his own identity and be loved for who he is. So all three of them are just kind of swirling around each other the whole time.
Yeah.
Woo-hyung ends up introducing Sujo and Boguk to each other. They go on a triad date. Mm-hmm. But then it turns out that Sujo and Boguk actually did know each other before and saw each other in some of their worst times. Sujo knows Boguk's ex-boyfriend who treated him like crap. Mm-hmm. And so they are just kind of trying to like figure each other out at this point.
Yeah.
They're trying to find out how they all work together. So Sujo is saying like, okay, we can both give him some things. We can't both, like one of us can't give him everything. So we should just both agree to work together, essentially. Mm-hmm. And Woo-hyung, while all this is going on, is still just falling deeper and deeper into despair.
Just spiraling
out of control. Still drinking way too much and trying to numb himself. He's now using sex to forget about everything. So everything he's trying to do is he wants to forget what happened before, but he's not dealing with what happened before.
Yeah, it's just trying to bury it.
Yeah, he's trying to bury it between all of this other stuff. And so he ends up having difficult relationships with both of them where he's really struggling and he feels too clingy. He's trying to hold on to them and they go back and forth a lot. And he actually asks Boguk to be his boyfriend. And Boguk is like, no, I don't want to be in a relationship with you because I don't want to be a substitute for your ex-wife. Mm-hmm. So then Woo Hyung goes back to Sujo after this, and he's still just like, you forgot about me until you needed to hook up, and now you're back here again. And so, like, they're all just hurting each other and struggling throughout this whole thing. That is a majority of the story, is they just go through all of these different trials, and things just get progressively worse and worse until we kind of reach a breaking point where Noyeol has made a book, and the book is poems or letters that he has written to Woo Hyung. And his ex-wife, Noah, who I wasn't sure about in the beginning, but I actually do think that they weren't in love, and she couldn't stay in the relationship with him. But she does truly care about him, and she's trying to help.
For him.
Yeah, she's trying to help. Like, they grew up together, and they have similar, like, they had similar ideals and, like, thought similarly, and they were both, you know, very focused on school and being the best that they could. And Woo Hyung kind of followed her lead and said, you know, she's always been so strong and confident, and he just followed. Like, she is the one who wanted to be in a relationship with him. She's the one who proposed to him, and he just kind of agreed to it at every step. Mm-hmm. And so I did end up liking her because I and it's troubling too for other reasons that we'll get to, but overall I think that she was trying to do the best thing that she could, and she was put in difficult situations and had her own hard time. But all of that to say, she reaches out to Woo Hyung and is like, hey, there's a book coming out. I want you to hear this, and don't read it. It's not good.
Yeah.
And the book gets delivered to his door, so he does end up reading it. At this point, he was with Sujo, and he leaves Sujo to go back to Boguk because it's Boguk's birthday, and Boguk never shows up. He says, I'm gonna come back after work, and then he never shows up. Mm-hmm. And then on top of this, Woo Hyung is reading this book now, and he is just devastated over this. Mm-hmm. And so he kind of goes on an even worse binge than normal, doesn't answer anyone's phone calls, doesn't leave his apartment or anything, and everyone's worried about him. So Boguk eventually convinces the neighbor to let him go through her balcony to get over to his balcony to break into his house, and you see that he's broken all of his furniture and thrown things around. And he's just so upset. Then Boguk stays there. He ends up falling asleep on the couch, and Woo Hyung comes back at this point, and Woo Hyung sees him and immediately tries to, like, start getting intimate with him while Boguk is asleep. And then they have, like, a fight about this where Boguk is like, that's not okay. And Woo Hyung kind of has this moment where he's like, oh my gosh, I am as bad as Noyeol. Like, I did what he did to me. And he kind of has a meltdown about this. He throws a punch at a mirror and busts it open, and there's blood everywhere. And he ends up running away. And so he finds Sujo, and Sujo takes him to the hospital and then takes him back to a hotel. Mm-hmm. They stay together for a little while, and then Sujo is like, okay, I'm going to go out, get some food for us, get some stuff, and I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. And Woo Hyung is like, okay, yeah, where would I go? And he ends up leaving. He leaves a note with their safe word on it, potato.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
Yeah. And that's it. It's just a note that says potato. And he tells Boguk that he's leaving. And he ends up being gone and not talking to anyone for a month. And people are worried about him. So Boguk and Sujo and Noah all start to work together to try and find him. They go to another police officer. They get his phone records and everything. And they find out that he is going to 3 different locations back and forth. Mm-hmm. And Noah finds out that her brother was released early. So then you see that Woo Hyung has been following Noyeol around because he's just so lost. He doesn't know what to do at this point. And he has been struggling this whole time with, like, is it my fault? did I want this? What do I feel about this? Just struggling and falling like deeper and deeper down. And he ends up saving Noel from being hit by a car. And he ends up in the hospital from this. And while he's in the hospital, this is when Boguk and Sujo find him. And he says this is his goodbye. He's like, I'm saying goodbye to you guys now. You're too good for me. Like, you deserve to find happiness. And I'm not going to be able to give that to you. And he says, this is when I had my, oh no moment. Mm-hmm. He says that he is going to go be with Noel. And the two of them are like, I'm sorry, what? So they do end up leaving because they can't convince him otherwise. And then they run into Noel in the hallway of the hospital. Mm-hmm. Noel has brought Woo Hyung food and flowers, and you don't see it, but it's insinuated that they got in a fight with him because he had flowers, and then he's like, well, the flowers got ruined, and his knuckles are roughed up and they weren't before. And so he's talking to Noel, and he kind of accepts Noel and says, he is the one who loves me and needs me the most, so I'm just going to be with him because it's the easiest solution to everything. And I was very concerned because, as I said, there were 81 episodes. This was at 77. I was like, this is too close to the end for this to be happening. Mm-hmm. And so then it gets even crazier because Noah, she despises her brother for what he did. Yeah. I didn't even mention this part, but you also find out that she knew that Noel kidnapped Woo Hyung, but she didn't go to the police or anything, and he threatened saying, if you go to the police, then it's going to be worse for him. Mm-hmm. I just want to have a chance to talk to him and try and convince him not to marry you. And she's like, okay, I guess that,
like, didn't realize the gravity of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so at that point I was very conflicted. I was like, oh my gosh, she knew what was happening and she let it happen, but she didn't know the extent of it because he said that he was just going to talk. Mm-hmm. And that's not what happened. So Noah is like, you know what? Let's kidnap Noel and let's lock him up for 10 days and see how he feels about it. So they do. They kidnap Noel, and Sujo and Boguk go to Woo Hyung at the hospital when he's getting ready to leave. And he was expecting Noel to come pick him up. But when he sees that it's them, he's like, what are you doing here? And they tell him what they did, that they've kidnapped Noel and that they want to reverse the roles on him. They're like, I don't care if you hate us after this. I don't care if you want to be with us, who you want to be with. We just want you to be happy. And it's not happening like this. Then it cuts forward and you see him, he's in a taekwondo class with all of these younger kids, and he's an assistant teacher there. Mm-hmm. And you see him interacting with these older men, and he's on their soccer team, and he's playing soccer with them. And he has an internal monologue while this is happening. And so Woo Hyung is thinking back, and it's 3 years later. Mm-hmm. So 3 years have passed, and you're like, okay, well, what did he choose? Clearly, he's happier now because you can see that, and the older men, too, he's getting ready to move. So he's moved to a small village, and he's getting ready to move back to Seoul. And so the older men are like, we know you don't drink, but, like, we want to have a celebration for you since you're leaving. So you get to see that he's battled his inner demons and, like, come out on top. I'm gonna cry as I'm talking about it. And so then you see he did go see Noel being tied up. And while he was there, he realized how sad and pathetic it was and how he really did just have a bunch of mental health issues that he needed to take care of. And he's like, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
I feel sorry that this happened, and I'm going to focus on me. And so he leaves, and then at the very end, you see that a couple of the people from the small village are talking about a guy who's coming to get him, and you don't know who it is. And the very last panel is him riding a bike up, and you see two guys holding grocery bags coming to get him, and I know who it is, and I'm so sad that that's where it ended, and I wanted to see them all together again.
I love it.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. And you know what? I would have loved more. I want to see them all get to be happy together.
I know.
I did say at the very beginning when I was first reading like the intro and met all of the characters, I didn't even look at the tags, so I didn't know it was going to be a triangle. And I said, I hope that it's a throuple situation. I want them all to end up together. And I got my wish, but
yeah.
At what
it's
cost?
Hard to say. Like, I do, in this story specifically, I like that it's left up to interpretation. Mostly because there have been so many twists and turns. You just see all of the characters in such agonizing pain.
Yeah.
And you just see the happiness. And to me, it didn't even have to be romantic in the end. I just wanted them all to be happy. And like the fact that they were able to find happiness and be a part of each other's lives. I'm like, they don't even have to be a throuple. They could just all be like, you were in my life during the hardest points and we got through it together. And, like, that is something that's so special that, like, they can't share that with anyone else.
No, they're a throuple.
It is. I mean, yeah, they are. I mean, that's the implication. It is such a good story.
Yeah, it was. Oh, my gosh, it was so good. I'm not going to stop thinking about that for a long time.
You'll never recover.
I'll never recover.
Yeah, I knew you'd love it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you got to talking about this one.
Me too.
So worth it. I don't have any stories that are as traumatic as that. So hopefully we'll like liven up the rest of the episode. But the next one that I read is actually called Just Peachy. It's a completed series on Leeson with 56 episodes. It is the fluffiest of fluff. It's a fantasy romance, and it all revolves around this sage. Her name is Chanrak. And she is about to take her exam to be like a full-time sage. She's like a junior sage right now. Once she takes this exam, she's good to go. And before you do the exam, there is this rumor, or I guess not so much a rumor, more of like a fairy tale that like if you eat this celestial peach, that you'll be even wiser and you'll succeed on your test and it'll be perfect. And so she like finds a way to let down this barrier for like the celestial tree, and she gets this peach and she ends up dropping it into the mortal world. And she's like, well, shit. So she goes to the mortal world. She's like, okay, I got to get the peach back. Then I can like go take it back to the celestial realm. I can eat the peach. I'll take the exam. I'll be a full-time sage. Good to go. And her entire goal for this is the sages are like gods that rule over the worlds. And she wants to be the god that takes over and like watches over all the humans. Mm-hmm. So she's like, oh, it'll be nice to kind of like observe the mortal worlds. That'll be fun. And when she goes, the peach isn't there. And she's like, where the hell did I drop this thing? And you kind of have to love her. She's just a lovable klutz. Mm-hmm. Like throughout the entire series, she makes little mistakes and she's like, who would make a mistake like that? And everyone's like, you literally have made that mistake 5 times.
We've seen it happen before.
We've watched it. And you as the reader are like, it's you. But Chanrak ends up using her powers. She's like, okay, take me to the peach. And she basically falls out of the sky onto this actor who's doing a photo shoot. And she's like, so sorry, so embarrassing. Would you have happened to have seen a peach anywhere? He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But she realizes that her powers didn't fail her and that this peach has been absorbed into this actor.
Oh, no.
And so she's like, oh, my God, this is terrible. So the celestial peach can be given to humans, but they're not supposed to. So this peach has given him like all of this outrageous fame. Like out of nowhere, he was like an overnight star.
Did he eat the peach?
No, it just like absorbed into him. It's like a magical entity almost.
Okay.
So it's absorbed into him, unbeknownst to him at this point. And he's like just overnight fame. Like, he's just beautiful. He had been trying to be in this, like, idol band, and it all works out for him. And he's just like, I'm doing great. This is all working out for me. But Chanrak's like, this is so awkward. I'm going to need the peach back. And he's like, well, what happens if I give you the peach? And she goes, well, I mean, you kind of lose everything that the peach did for you. Like, you kind of just go back to being a nobody and, you know, whatever. And she tries to, like, nonchalantly say, like, you're going to be a loser. And he immediately is like, you're the one who lost the peach. That's not my fucking problem. And this lovely actor, his name is Do-won. We love Do-won. He's adorable, and I love him. But so they kind of start this like enemies to lovers. And throughout the beginning of the story, Chanrak's like, you really don't need that peach. There are a lot of other people who are really successful and they don't need it. And I kind of do. So you can give it back now. And also humans can't like handle the power that it has for them. So eventually it starts like driving people to like an unhealthy obsession. So like it draws people to you. They're like, oh, I want to see his stuff. But then they might become like really aggressive fans or like it might build into like a really, you know, unhealthy jealousy instead of like an admiration. And she's like, it's just going to be easier for you if you give it back. And he's still like, no, I'm not doing that. So finally, like he starts thinking back on his life and you see that Do-won had a really sad upbringing. He had his dad pass away. His mom had to go from, you know, living and having two incomes to having to work as a single mom. So she went and took on like a full-time job, but it was away from their home. So she sent Do-won to go and live with his uncle who was extremely physically abusive. And Do-won had nobody. And his mom eventually just never came back either. And so eventually his grandma found out that he was being abused and took him under her wing. But he had already suffered so much. So when the peach came to him and he was able to start being an idol and like kind of found his own purpose, he's now questioning everything he's done for himself. He's like, is it really because of a stupid peach that I've achieved all of this and like overcome it? And you see, he's just so good to his core. He's like, that's not the peach, that's me. But like, is the peach the only reason I reached this famous point, you know? And so he really starts to like self-doubt. So he does end up telling Chanrak, he's like, I'm willing to consider giving you the peach back. And he's like, what do we have to do it? What is it like? And she's like, oh, it's not like painful or anything. She's like, we just have to meet under this celestial tree. Like you give me a peck on the cheek and it transfers it and we're good to go. And he's like, okay, that's weird, but like whatever. And she goes, oh, and it has to be on a full moon, so we can't do it like right away. She goes, but I'll like check in on you, make sure you're all right and whatever. So she starts following Do-won around and she's not realizing it, but she is falling in love with him. Like just being around him is making her fall in love because he's a lovable guy.
Because of the peach or because of him?
Hard to say. But you see her stop considering the fact that he has the peach and she's like wanting to spend time with him because she's like, oh, he doesn't sleep well. Like I should just like give him a hug. Like a hug is like a simple gesture to make sure that somebody feels comforted. And so she like makes a point to like at least once a day. She's like, hi, Do-won, how was work? And gives him a hug. And he starts to immediately fall head over heels for her. He's like, this kindness and like this attention is not something I'm used to. And she's pretty cute. So like, I don't mind it. But he starts to grow this affection for her. But he's like, as soon as she gets this peach from me, she's gone. Like, she's not staying. She's only here and being nice to me because of the peach. And so first comes the first full moon. He's like, I mean, when do you really need it back by? She's like, I mean, in the celestial realm, time moves different. So like I've been here for like a couple of weeks and it's only been like, I don't know, like an hour. in the celestial realm. And she's like, and my exam's not for like another like 8 hours. So I could be here for a while. So they kind of agree. They're like, you can hold on to it until you do this big debut for like a new project you're working on. You know, make sure that the celestial powers are still there helping you to be popular. But you see that like all these people are starting to get really aggressive. So like there are people who are like working closely with him, but they start to like film him without him knowing. And like they threaten him and blackmail him. They're like, I'm going to say that you're dating this person if you don't give me this much money. And they start spreading awful rumors about him. And so she's like, okay, the celestial peach is kind of starting to negatively impact you because it's not something that a human's supposed to have. And meanwhile, Chanrok kind of has this like human liaison. She works for like the record company that Do-won is signed under, but she also is like a liaison that helps all of these different sages like in the mortal realm. So she's like very familiar with the situation. She tries to like help ignore all of the bad situations happening, like bury rumors that are coming out. And she's like, Chanrok, you need to get this peach back because it's causing some issues. And so Chanrok is dealing with the fact that she's kind of falling for Do-won. She's like, I can't do that. I'm a sage. That's not how it works. I'm supposed to protect all humans. Can't just protect the one. That's weird. Do-won is in love with her desperately. And he's just like, how do I get close to her? How do I make sure she doesn't stop giving me my daily hugs? Because that's kind of the highlight of my day. And you see that Soo-yeon, the girl who is working as the liaison, is trying to bury all of this bad publicity. But Soo-yeon, they're like, how did she get this position? She's like a regular human. She's working with all of these sages. How does she know what sages are? And it turns out that a sage had previously given her a celestial peach. Like she had fallen in love with a sage and had a very similar situation. And she warns them. She's like, don't fall in love. Like it doesn't end well. He's going to need you're going to need the celestial peach back. And when it's taken out of you, you feel this emptiness forever. And she's like, it's just not worth it, you know? And she's like, it made me look at the sage differently, you know, and it's not worth losing your love, you know? And the sage who was in love with her, you see that he comes back multiple times. His name is Baekjin, and he like just wants to watch over her and make sure that she's like still happy. And she's not. Like she has all this power and she's great and she's in like, you know, this really high up position, but like she doesn't enjoy it. And so Baekjin finally is like, I'm going to leave you alone. Like I'll forever regret giving you the celestial peach, but like I'll never regret having loved you. And he's like, I just want you to be happy. And so Soo-yeon is trying to help with covering all of this up, has her own personal opinions on like, you need to get that celestial peach from him sooner rather than later because I only had it for like a few months and it ruined my life.
Yeah.
She's like, and this poor actor is going to like crumble. Like, so Chanrok is like, okay, I need to get the peach back. They go to another full moon and Baekjin, the other sage, is like, by the way, at the full moon, you're supposed to do a vow of love before you do the kiss because otherwise it's not real that you guys had this connection and the peach won't transfer over. And Chanrok's like, I can't vow love because I don't really love him. I'm a sage. I can't love him. And Do-won like immediately just professes everything. He's like, I love you so much. And she's like, I guess I can stay. She's like, I have another full moon in me. Like, I still don't need to take the exam. So it goes back and forth a bunch. Chanrok eventually starts losing some of her powers and she realizes like she needs this peach to survive really. And so she's using up all of her powers trying to like wipe people's memory who maybe saw her do stuff she's not supposed to. Because again, she's a klutz and she makes a lot of mistakes. And Chanrok is trying to struggle with the fact that like she's feeling a lot of mortal emotions. Like she's starting to feel loss. She's like, I don't like the idea of ever having to not be with Do-won and I don't even want to think about it. And she's like almost ready to give up all of her different sage duties. And at the next full moon, after they basically profess their love to each other, they're about to kiss and she gets summoned back to the celestial realm. And the head sage is like, hey, somebody is going to test top of our class. The exam is about to start. Like, you only have 15 minutes, you know, break. And Chanrok's like, I need to go back. That like 5 minutes means that I've been gone for a significant amount of time for Do-won, and she's missed like a year. And Do-won had said, he's like, I've lost everybody. Don't ever leave without saying goodbye to me, because I've never gotten to say goodbye to anyone. Mm-hmm. So you find out that part of the reason that he's been able to handle the celestial peach for so long, because he's had it since he was pretty young, is because his grandma had done so many good deeds in her life that she became like an ascended sage, which is like a human who did so many good things that they like gain those celestial abilities later on. And so she wished goodwill on him that like kept him safe. And then between that and Chanrak, they were able to like stabilize all of the powers. And so they're like, okay, we need to get this back. And it comes down to Chanrak deciding that she loves Do-won so much, she's going to take the peach, not for herself, but because he needs to know his self-worth from it all. And he puts himself in all these dangerous positions when people start finding out that she's a sage and they start going after her. Like, he ends up getting stabbed at one point for her. She's like, I'm just so sick of seeing him hurt. Mm-hmm. Like, I just want him to be happy. She does all these things to, like, set up goodwill for him. Like, somebody makes a poisoning attempt and she thwarts it. And the idol group that he had debuted with had, like, started spreading all these mean rumors about him. And she ends up making sure that the truth comes to light and like having them reconcile. And she's like, I just want him to have like a full happy life without me. So she starts building it for him. And then like in the end, she ends up taking the peach and leaving. And she doesn't do the celestial exam to become like a head sage. She ends up becoming a personal sage, which is almost like a guardian angel for like one person, but they can't know that you exist. So she wipes his memory and becomes his like personal guardian. And Do-won is like going through these like future years, and he's just like, there's something missing. Like, I don't know what it is, but something's gone. And finally, like, he goes to the celestial tree and he cries about it. And he had gotten this pendant from her that he was still wearing as a necklace. And she had like put a bunch of her magic into it just to make sure that he would never feel alone. She's like, it'll always fill those gaps so that he's like not like a person with something missing. Mm-hmm. And so he like cries over the pendant, and she comes back and she's like, it's my peach. And that's how it ends. It's cute. I was so frustrated for so much of this story. Like, the fluff could give you a cavity. It's so sweet, the entire thing. But like, Chanrak is so frustrating. She refuses to acknowledge her feelings for a significant portion of the story. I did love that, like, at the end, she's like, you're my peach, even though, like, the celestial peach isn't even a thing anymore. Like, it's gone. She's like, you're just my peach. Like, you're my special thing. But, like, it kind of leaves some unanswered questions. I'm like, how is she able to see him? I thought she's a guardian, and she's not supposed to see him. And it's just because he cried over the pendant.
It kind of reminds me of the other one you read, You're my guardian angel, I'm your guardian angel.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking when you were talking about, like, I was thinking it was going to be like that, where she comes back and they can see each other and all that stuff.
I mean, it is a very similar ending. I think I'm Your Guardian Angel did it better. Yeah. Because they had explained the guardian angel thing earlier on. Mm-hmm. I'll say, like, it's super cute. I'm not upset that I read it at all. But I loved Do-won. He was perfect throughout the entire story. Like, golden retriever energy was top of its class here. But yeah, I mean, Chanrak is just a lovable, like, ditz, honestly. And Do-won is just cute. The story is cute. So if you want something to help cleanse out all of the trauma from Ouroboros, then this might be a good one.
Well, I do have another story that is also painfully cute. Okay. And will cleanse the Ouroboros of my mind. I mean, it's always going to be there.
Don't cry.
Okay.
We'll be back after a short pause. No, I'm just kidding.
So, this story is absolutely adorable. Mm-hmm. It's called Castle Swimmer. It's super, super popular on Webtoon. This is one that was on my year, like, reading list, reading goals. Mm-hmm. And it's got a lot of episodes, 169 episodes. Okay. It's currently on hiatus. I did not read all 160. No, not even that. 186.
Oh.
186 episodes. I only read the first 19 because
Okay.
I bought the physical book that is out, and it's just the first 19 episodes.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. I'm definitely going to buy the whole series. And I think what I'm going to do with this one is just read the physical books as they come out instead of reading on Webtoon.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's bonus content in there. There's like super cute little side stuff. So worth it.
All worth it.
Yeah. But this one starts off with the most adorable little merman, little merchild at this point. And he has a golden tail, and he is being spoken to by the gods above the water.
Mm-hmm.
And he's being told that he's the beacon and that he has to fulfill prophecies.
Mm-hmm.
So then you see him start to swim around, and he goes and he interacts with these other mer people. And one thing I love about this is that there are different species of mer people. So like every mer, there's like different tribes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's shark mer people, there's shrimp mer people. There are
I want to see the shrimp mer people.
They're a little creepy looking. So there's all kinds of different, like there's barracudas. So he meets these mer people.
What species is he a part of?
He's on his own.
He's like completely alone?
He's completely alone. No one looks like him. It is funny because when he goes to this first like set of people, they're like, "Where's your head fin?" Because they all have like fins on their head and he doesn't.
Aw.
So you hear their prophecy, and it's that the beacon will bring them a golden flower, and this golden flower will allow them to live forever.
Mm-hmm.
He knocks this giant ball, and a bunch of blue flowers come out. And at first, they're all really excited about it, but then they realize that the flowers are blue and not gold, and they're like, "You did it wrong. What are you doing? These aren't gold flowers." And he gets really upset and he goes away. And then 20 years go by.
So he really hid himself away.
Yeah. Well, he's been fulfilling prophecies during that whole time.
Okay.
The story just kind of picks back up with him 20 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And he's swimming around, and you see he's being pulled by a golden string.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these different groups are talking about the prophecies that he's a part of for them, and like, oh, the beacon's going to come and he's going to grant us this power, or he's going to help us overcome these odds, or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes to the shark mer people. They live in a castle that's like deep underwater.
And do they swim there? Because they're castle swimmers.
Yeah, they do.
Yes. Got it.
So you hear their prophecy. There's a curse on them.
On the shark people?
Yeah. They had a queen in the past who a god was attacking them, and the queen defended the people and attacked the god. And as the god was dying, the god put a curse on all of them and said, like, you will suffer and eventually die. So
No, isn't that everybody?
you see all these people, and they have scars all over them because bad things just happen. Like one guy, his girlfriend accidentally just hit him with like a harpoon. So like just bad things happen all the time to them.
They're like, what's this thing?
Yeah.
Aww.
And so they have a prophecy though that says that a prince with no scars will kill the beacon, and the blood of the beacon will purify the land around them, and they will be forgiven, and the curse will be lifted.
Okay.
So then we meet Siren. He is this prince, and he has been extremely sheltered all of his life. He is not allowed to go anywhere because if he does, they're like, he's going to get a scar, and then the prophecy will be ruined.
Jesus.
Like, it even shows as a child, he, like, tried to give himself a scar.
Aww.
And it didn't work, but his mom, who's the queen, was furious about it. So you see, he doesn't want to kill the beacon. He doesn't want to fulfill this prophecy.
Yeah.
But he also doesn't want his people to struggle. He sees how bad things are for them. And so he's like caught between a rock and a hard place. Mm-hmm. The beacon does end up coming because you find out that the golden string that he's attached to, if he comes too close into contact with someone who is connected to a prophecy that he's a part of, he is drawn to them and he has to stay by their side.
I'm so excited because I know that this is like golden string of fate. I can feel it.
It's not really like string of fate because, well, I guess it is, but he's not tied to a single person.
Yeah.
He's tied to these prophecies.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever is involved in that, he has to be tethered to them when he comes close enough to them until it's fulfilled. And the only way to overcome it is to get close to someone else who has a prophecy, and then he can go be with them instead of, who he was with previously. So he comes to the shark people, and he's put in the dungeon, and they tell Siren, like, okay, you have to go kill him. And they've told him his whole life that the beacon wants to be killed, wants to be a part of this prophecy. And so goes in, he's trembling, he's got his harpoon with him, and he goes in and he goes up to the beacon. He's immediately enamored with him because he's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And so the beacon says, I know you have to do what you're told, so just, do it quickly and get it over with. And Siren is there just kind of thinking for a little bit and eventually says, I can't do it. Like, I know that my people are suffering, but I cannot kill someone. Mm-hmm. It's too hard. And then the beacon goes, oh, thank God. So, and then Siren, they have a conversation. Siren's like, wait, you don't want to die? And he's like, no, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
And so they're talking about it. Siren is like, okay, I'm going to help you escape then. So then he leaves and he goes back and he tells his mom, the queen, that he couldn't do it today because God told him not to do it today. It's got to be a different day. Mm-hmm. And the queen and like his grandmother, they know that he's lying, but they're like, okay, he just needs some time to like warm up to the idea of killing the beacon. So then they show like a montage of him going in and out of the dungeon every day. Mm-hmm. So when he goes into the dungeon, he just sits on the outside of the shell and the beacon sits on the inside of the shell. You find out the beacon's name is Kappa.
I was just going to ask if the beacon has a name.
Yeah, you don't know it until they start getting to know each other.
You know what's so sad? That's probably because no one thought to ask.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. So
I'm sad I was right.
So they're getting to know each other. They're just talking about, like, stories about their lives, what their favorite things are. Siren is talking about how he has never been anywhere because he's never been allowed to do anything. Kappa has traveled everywhere because he has to just keep wandering. He has no one, and he has to fulfill these prophecies. Mm-hmm. So he's telling all of his travels and saying, oh, you have to go here. You would love this, and you would love to see this, coral, or you would love to eat this fish that is only in this area, like all these things. Mm-hmm. And they're just getting closer. And then also when he goes out, he's got like a new excuse every day. Yeah. So he's like, oh, well, I couldn't reach the harpoon back. He was back too far. And then eventually he, quote, loses the harpoon.
I love Siren.
I do too. And so he loses the harpoon, which he hid it behind a statue. And when he's leaving, his mother is like, okay, at this point, I'm going to have to do it. And that's going to have to be good enough. I think that the blood is going to be good enough, even if you're not the one who's sacrificing him. No. So she says she's going to do it. While she's trying to have this conversation with Siren, you hear that the castle is under attack from barracudas who have broken in. Mm. And the barracuda mer people are trying to get something in the dungeon They don't know what it is. It's the beacon. But they're like, we know that something valuable is down there because we've heard rumors, but we don't know what it is.
But we just want it.
Yeah. And so they are defeated, but a lot of people are injured in the process. And you see Siren is very distraught over what to do. And his mother is like, look, I know you can't do this. I'm going to do it for you. They kind of have a little argument. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time that all of this is going on, you do see intermittently just the perspective from the other groups who have prophecies. And they're like, where is the beacon? And they find out about the shark's prophecy. And they're like, we cannot let this happen. If they kill the beacon, then all of our prophecies can't come true.
Yeah.
So they're trying to devise a plan. And they end up saying that they're going to go and confront the shark people and just like distract them and then take the beacon away.
Yeah.
And so where I've left off in the book is they have just knocked on the door of the shark castle, and the queen has gone to greet them. And that's where it leaves off in this first book. So we'll see. I love it. It's so cute. Siren and Kappa are just absolutely adorable. To see their little friendship blossoming is just my absolute favorite. And then the grandma too. She's a little like off her rocker. Yeah. But she's very fun. So I can't wait to see where this one goes.
I know. Too bad you're going to have to wait until June.
I know.
Because volume 2 is not out until then.
Yeah. I may cave and start reading the web version of it.
You'll still love it.
Yeah. I could do both.
You'll still love it. So I don't think there's a problem with it. Well, the last one that I read for today is actually a manga. Reading all of your manga and finally giving them back to you was inspiration enough for me to start reading the things that I've been given from other people. So now I get to start returning things that I borrowed like a year ago. But this one is a boy love that I got from my sister. It is actually the very first boy love that she bought for herself, I believe is what she said. But it's called Only the Ring Finger Knows. Very like 90s, early 2000s styles manga where like they have the big eyes, the proportions are maybe a little weird.
The pointy chin. I was just thinking that art style reminds me of My High School Romance.
Yeah. It's very similar. It's not always my favorite.
Yeah, I know.
But I will say, I loved this story. The fact that I slept on this one for so long is like a detriment to me.
Yeah.
And I hurt no one but myself with that. But this one is a single volume. So it's like a completed series with one volume, which is my new favorite. I either want something to be like one volume so that I can own it and have more room for other things on my bookshelf.
Yeah.
Or I want it to be like, okay, everything is released and I can buy it in these condensed forms so that I can, again, focus on other stuff. Maybe I have a problem. Who's to say? The story revolves around Fuji Wataru. He is a high school junior, and he is consoling his friend in the beginning of this story. His friend is just beside himself. I think maybe it's more like college junior. It's something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's kind of a gray area. They're in school, in like a private school. But they're drinking together, so I would assume that they are of age.
Well, maybe.
Wherever they're at. Who knows?
Who's to
it's
say?
It's kind of blurred lines. But so he's consoling his friend. His friend's like, I asked out my girlfriend, Mai, to be like official, and she said no. And he's like, I bought us these beautiful rings, you know, so we could have matching rings. And they talk about the importance of like how at their school, this is like a status symbol. So the way that they place their rings is very specific. If you have matching rings with somebody and they're both on your pointer fingers, then that means that you're like best friend soulmates. So yeah, I know. I was immediately like, where's my pointer finger ones? Thanks a lot, Alex. You're sleeping on me. But then if you wear it on your middle finger, then you're single. So it's like kind of like telling everybody, you know, you don't have a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you wear matching rings on your left ring finger, like a married couple, it means that you're in a relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
You're like serious. So he's trying to console his friend. He's like, look, you've got the rings now. So whenever you meet somebody you want to date, you know, you can give them to her. And he's like, but I wanted it to be for my. And she's like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't care. So Fuji goes to school the next day. You see that Fuji does have his own ring. It's on his middle finger. And his friend had been complaining the entire night about how Mai, the girl who turned down his friend, did so because she's in love with this heartthrob that's a senior. And his name is Kazuki Yuichi. And he's like, I mean, the guy's nice. Like, it's not the guy's fault that this girl turned him down. My friend's just being dramatic and he's just like heartbroken. He's looking for someone to take the blame. So he's like, okay, whatever. You know, he goes to the bathroom and he takes his ring off to wash his hands. And as he's washing his hands, he like splashes his face with water. He's like preparing for the day. And Kazuki walks into the bathroom, this guy, this heartthrob that his friend's girl left him for. And he's a complete asshole. So he's like sat there. He's like trying to like vouch for this random guy. He's like, I mean, he's just like a nice guy. He's like top of his class. It's not his fault. And then they have this interaction. Kazuki's like, hey, do you need to use my handkerchief to like wash up, like to dry off your face? And Fuji's like, oh, that's so nice of you. Thank you for letting me borrow it. And he's like dabbing his face off. And then Kazuki's like, well, I couldn't help but give it to you because you were splashing water everywhere and it got all over me. Thanks a fucking lot. And Fuji's like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? The nerve of some people. So his opinion officially flips. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Why is he being such an asshole? So Fuji keeps it to himself, goes home, and his sister Kira's like, hey, do you know Kazuki? He goes to your school. And Fuji's like, fucking great. Like, I'm hearing about him at school. Now I'm hearing about him at home. I can't escape this asshole's name. And now I know he's an asshole. He has everyone fooled. And she's like, well, my friend gave me this present. His birthday's coming up. So I just wanted to make sure that like he could get the present. And I figured that since like you'd probably see him around school, you could give it to him. Plus he like kindly turns down all of these girls' advances. Like he's not interested in girls when they try to give stuff to him. He's like, thanks, but no thanks. And he's really nice about it. But like she doesn't want to get turned down. She wants to make sure that he takes the present. So can you give it to him? And Fuji's like, whatever, because it becomes increasingly obvious she's not going to leave it alone. So Fuji goes to school. As he's trying to deliver the present, he sees that Kazuki is turning down another woman who's professed her love. She's like, please, will you give me a chance? And who is it? Except for Mai.
Oh, no.
His friend's girl who's like now professing her love. And Kazuki's like, I'll never return your feelings. Like, I appreciate the courage it took for you to profess your love to me. But I'm so sorry. Like, I just can't return those feelings to you. She's like, okay, but you're so nice about it, which just makes me love you more. So she leaves and Fuji is like hiding under this desk with the present. He's like, that was fucking awkward. I'm glad he didn't see me. And Kazuki like reaches over and he's like, are you going to keep hiding behind there? Also, that present is so big, it makes you look tinier. And they have another like heated exchange. But Fuji ends up giving him the present. He's like, here's a present for you. And he's like, what's it for? And he's like, well, your birthday's coming up. And he goes, when's my birthday? And he's like, June 7th. Which he only knows from his sister having told him, like, oh, his birthday is June 7th. Give him the present.
Is it June 7th?
That's his birthday, yeah.
You know someone else's birthday is June 7th.
I do. Happy birthday, secret person. You know who you are if you're listening. You're not listening.
Not listening.
So Kazuki takes the present. He's like, well, thanks for the present. And Fuji's like, yeah, I mean, it was just kind of a favor for my little sister to deliver it. And so Kazuki kind of like pins him up against the wall. And he's like, this present's not from you. And he's like, no. And he's like, take the fucking present. I don't want the present. What are you, a little errand boy, a little bitch boy kind of energy? And Fuji's like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Why won't he leave me alone? And you find out that Kazuki and Fuji have the same ring. They both wear them on their middle fingers. But when Fuji washes his hands, and he had the ring earlier, he's like, oh my God, I gained a bunch of weight because it doesn't fit on the right finger. So he was having to wear it on his ring finger. He's like, what the fuck is happening? Why doesn't it fit? So he and Kazuki end up switching rings back. They find out they have matching rings that only fit on each other's other finger. Mm-hmm. And so Kazuki's like, you're such a dumbass. You thought that you gained a bunch of weight in a day. Like, obviously that's not what happened. Like, obviously we switched rings. He's like, I wouldn't assume that we had the same ring. Like, he's like, I really thought that I just got fat. So they switch rings back. And now Fuji's like, I have a matching ring with this asshole. Great. Just my luck. So he tells his sister, he's like, the present, he didn't take the present. But rumors start going around school that Kazuki is dating Fuji's younger sister because of the present that was delivered to him. Mm-hmm. And Fuji doesn't deny it. He's like, people are going to think it's weird that we have matching rings because rumors are going around about that too now. And he's like, so maybe if I just don't dispel the rumors that my sister and Kazuki are dating, then I won't get in trouble. Like, they won't be like, why do you have matching rings together? Are you guys together? And that would be embarrassing for both of us. So Fuji doesn't deny that his sister is dating Kazuki. It's not the case, but he's like, my sister's not going to get hurt by this because she doesn't go to this school. So the rumors aren't going to get back to her. She's not going to care. And Kazuki finds out and ends up confronting him. He's like, why the hell are you letting people say this? And Fuji's like, I didn't spread the rumor. He's like, no, but you didn't shut it down either. And it's not fucking true. And Fuji's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, let's just leave it alone. And Kazuki kisses Fuji. Mm-hmm. And Fuji's like, what the hell? Why are you kissing me? This is kind of uncharacteristically close of you. And Kazuki's like, whatever, you're stupid. And they leave each other. Like, they part ways. And so Fuji's struggling a lot. He's like, do I have to get rid of this ring because it's a matching ring? Like, now he's pissed. Is he going to, like, make sure that he quashes the rumors about him and my sister? And then the rumors are going to come back that we have matching rings with one another. And he's like, great. Like, this is just not where we want to be. Kazuki ends up playing this basketball game as, like, almost an alternate because somebody else drops out and their team wouldn't have been able to play. And Fuji does go and see the game, but Kazuki leaves with it like a quarter of the game left. And Fuji kind of follows him. And Kazuki was planning on this. He's like, I know that Fuji's going to come and find me. And so they have another like heart to heart where Fuji kind of sees him smiling. And he's like, I don't even know what version of this guy is the real version of this guy. Like, what the hell is going on? And so they end up having a conversation where Fuji tells Kazuki, he's like, it's weird that we have the matching rings. Maybe like if you just got a different ring, it'd be fine. And he's like, no, this was specially made for me, you know, by a friend. I'm keeping this ring. Like, it was made for me. And, you know, he's like, why do you want your ring? And Fuji tells the story of like why the ring has significance for him. And he's like, you know, I bought the ring and it wasn't anything super crazy. Like, I just bought it because I liked it. And then I lost it at this like school festival. And I thought I'd never see it again. And randomly I found it on my desk like months later. And he's like, and it just felt like fate. I was like, I have to wear this ring. So Kazuki's like, that's an interesting story. And he kisses the ring finger. Mm-hmm. And then he leaves. And Fuji's like, what the fuck is going on?
He put it there.
Well, I guess we'll find out. So Fuji is now like, I see these glimmers of this nice person. And it doesn't feel like the fake, like regimented nice that he shows everybody else. And he's like, it almost feels like the really nice and sweet version and the asshole version are both him. I don't know why. It's all directed at me. But Fuji starts to come to terms with the fact that he's growing to have feelings for Kazuki and sees him as like this interesting person he wants to know more. So he does end up trying to go and find Kazuki around his birthday. And you find out like he's really affluent, well off. They throw like this big birthday bash. And he goes to try to find Kazuki by his house. And he spots Kazuki and this girl talking, and she's the one who made the ring for him. And he's like, oh my God, they're in love. I'm a fucking idiot. Like, I'm so stupid.
He had the ring. He had the ring made to look like his ring. That's my guess. Okay. And then he put it back on the desk.
So Fuji's confidence just like crumbles. He's like, I thought that I was going to be able to ask, Kazuki if the feelings are returned because we've had these weird exchanges and I'm having feelings for him. And he ends up taking the ring off. He's like, well, I don't have to worry about it anymore. If I get rid of the ring, then we don't even have to worry about it. And so he gives the ring to this little girl playing at the playground, right by them. He's like, here, little girl, you can have my ring. And she's like, are we married now? And he's like, sure. Sure, I'll see you later, random girl. And so he leaves. And Kazuki, kind of confronts him about this too. He's like, where'd your ring go? And he's like, it was just awkward. I know that was made by somebody special that you love. That's your ring. You can have it. I got rid of my ring because my reasoning's stupid. It wasn't given to me by anybody. Like, it felt like it was fate because it came back to me. But, like, it's just weird for us to share it. And they share a kiss again. And he's like, I'm so confused. I don't know what's happening. And he storms off. And so Kazuki kind of, like, falls into this deep depression. He's not coming to school. He's not, like, participating in anything. Obviously, all of the girls around school are extremely upset about this. They're like, where's my love? And Fuji is also concerned. He's like, I don't know where he went. So he and his sister are just going on a random excursion after school. She's like, my brother's going to buy me a gift. We're going to have a nice time. And they go into this jewelry shop, and it's the woman that was talking with Kazuki at the park when he saw them. And he's embarrassed. He's like, oh my gosh, I can't. So he goes to leave and kind of hide his face. He's like, get me out of this situation. And the woman goes, oh, are you Fuji? And he goes, yeah, how do you know who I am? And she goes, are you friends with Kazuki? You guys go to the same school. And he's like, I mean, yeah, kind of. I haven't seen him around school in a minute. And she's like, oh, because he's super depressed. And she's like, you'd think that he's heartbroken. Like, he's not leaving his room. He's not doing anything. And Fuji's like, you know what? I have to go. I'm going to excuse myself. And Kira's like, you're supposed to buy me an expensive gift. And he just kind of leaves money or whatever with her. And he's like, I have to go do something more important. And the store owner starts talking with the little sister. She's like, how do you know who my brother is? And she's like, oh, because I've seen his picture. And the little sister's like, how have you seen my brother's picture? That's kind of weird. She goes, oh, because Kazuki's in love with him. And she's like, yeah, it's not a secret. Kazuki loves that boy. And so she does start telling a little bit of the story where the ring was found by Kazuki. He had immediately fallen in love seeing a picture of him at this school festival and found his ring. And he's like, I didn't know if it was your ring because there were a lot of them that were similar. But he left it on Fuji's desk to see. And he kind of hid to look and see if he had found the right owner. And he's like, I figured your reaction would tell me if it was your ring. And Kazuki sees that Fuji has the warmest smile and basically hugs the ring to his heart and sees how special it was that it made its way back to him. And so he has his cousin, who is the store owner, make a replica ring so that they have matching rings together because it's an unrequited love. So Fuji doesn't know this. Fuji is approaching Kazuki, and as he's going up to Kazuki's house, Kazuki's behind him because his cousin had texted him, and she's like, guess who's on their way to see you? And Kazuki goes, hey, were you looking for me? And he kind of explains. He's like, we have the same ring. I never said I was upset about you having the ring. And you see him get the ring back from who is his little cousin. The little girl that they jumped the ring on.
Everyone is his cousin.
Yeah, everyone's his cousin. Well, they were all at the park for his birthday.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So it starts tying it together. It plays it off like she's random. But so the little girl's name is Takako. And so he gets the ring back from his cousin. And she's like, that's my ring because I'm going to marry Fuji. And Kazuki kisses Fuji on the lips. And he goes, no, we're really good friends. You can't have this ring. And Takako's like, fine. And you see that she goes to her mom and she's just coloring. And she randomly goes, the big boys are really good friends. They like to give each other kisses. And the mom's like, okay. I don't know where you get this imagination. But Kazuki and Fuji, they have the conversation and they end up exchanging rings because the rings fit on each other's ring finger. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what are people going to think when we start wearing the other rings? And he's like, they can think whatever the hell they want because the only one who knows that we have these feelings for each other is between us and our ring fingers.
Aww.
The end.
So cute.
It's so cute. It was adorable. I loved it. And it's such a quick read.
Yeah.
It gave me so much joy. I appreciate my sister for having impeccable taste as always. Mm-hmm. It was perfect. I loved it. I could have cried. It was just so adorable.
Another successful TBR read.
I know. I feel like they're all going to be. Really, like the only one so far I was like, man, it's not quite what I wanted was just Peachy. Just because it felt a little rushed. Or like they were trying to fit in information that didn't exist throughout the entire rest of the series. And then in the last episode, they're like, oh, but this could happen too.
We gotta wrap it up now.
Yeah. So ultimately, though, I still enjoyed it all.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Highly recommend if you're looking for a single volume manga. Only the ring finger knows. And if you're looking to have your heart broken, Ouroboros is a great option too.
You'll never forget it.
You'll never recover.
You'll never recover.
Well, we are so very much looking forward to talking to you all on the next one. If you have any recommendations for us, make sure to email them to us or you can respond to us over Instagram.
Goodbye.
Bye.